yesterday. 0345 6060 973. Dermot Devlin is a disability advocate and Amnesty International human rights defender of Northern Ireland in 2020. Welcome, how are you?
Good evening, Eddie.
I'm guessing, and we've already heard from one guest, that what happened to Karine El Harara yesterday is far from being an isolated incident.
Unfortunately not. Now, unfortunately, it is a daily occurrence for the majority of people who are disabled. You know, it's just something we face every day, that I've been denied access to buildings, denied access to services and different things. That the society around it isn't built for disabled people, and it's been designed by non-disabled people because we've been forgotten about.
And why should that be? As we've heard from Fazile, there is legislation on the books. This should not be happening. Why does it still happen?
Personally, I don't think the legislation is strong enough, and it's not been enforced. Sadly, some of the legislation is quite vague, which comes down to reasonable adjustment. So, and that could be open to anybody's interpretation of what is reasonable adjustment. For example, like yesterday, I know it's been said there was some access that was still available for her to go in, but, you know, disabled people have been, as far back as I can remember, like I'm in my 40s now, I've been told, you know, you can get in by the back door, you can go in by the side alley. You know, disabled people don't want that. We want to access the same way that non-disabled people do, because we're tired and we're fed up going in the back door.
And Janice's point in her text, one of her bugbears, not being able to upgrade to a better room in a hotel. And she says it sounds petty, but it's another example of restriction. It's just what you're talking about not wanting the very minimum.
It is the bare minimum that's been offered to us, but the bare minimum isn't adequate for disabled people. Like, for example, I know you were saying there about the lady before, you said about the hotel bedroom. Now, I've been in that position myself, you know, that the shower room, you know, should be accessible to us, but it isn't. It can be quite dangerous at times. For example, the seats for us to sit on sometimes isn't sturdy enough. There isn't enough room between the walls and the beds and the floor to get the wheelchair in and out of safely. People like myself, maybe I would use a machine at night, you know, to help augment my sleep, and I have to charge up my electric wheelchair. Sometimes these plugs are far away from the bed that, you know, it's physically impossible unless I had somebody with me to take me from the wheelchair to the bed. So it takes away our independence. And then with the machine at night, like I've known myself in several occasions, where I'd have to bring my own extension cables with me so that I can hook up this machine at night to help augment my sleep. So even disabled bedrooms themselves aren't adequate enough as well.
Can you imagine a life where none of those difficulties exist? Where, yes, you have your existing disability, but all of the barriers that you experience on a daily basis aren't there. What difference would that make?
Well, for me, the worst thing about being a disabled person isn't the physical or the mental or the manifestations of the disability itself. Is, for me, the worst part is the restriction the society puts on me. You know, whether that's transport, whether that's getting into venues and being told that they can't get in, or we have to sit at the back because there's no space at the front, or there's no space for non-disabled people. Even something as going not being able to go to the toilet, you know, because most places wouldn't have changing places facilities, which means we don't have the sense of security to go to the toilet or self with assistance. But if these restrictions were removed and accessibility was put in place, it would give us back a lot more independence than what we have now, and it would put us on an even keel as best as possible. You know, with non-disabled people, we can access life and live it to the full of our own individual potential.
Dermot, good to see you. Thank you. That's Dermot Devlin, disability advocate and Amnesty International human rights defender of Northern Ireland in 2020. Here's Danny in Kilburn. Hi.